Who could take the beggar man off the streets, give him clean clothes and food to eat? God can. I know God can. Who could take the heart turned bitter and cold and make it brand new so it shines like gold? God can. I know God can. God could take away all your pain, make the sun shine, chase the rain. Yesterday, today, forever the same. All you gotta do is just call his name. Who can put the family back together again that let their guard down and the devil crept in? God can. I know God can. Who can reach down to the trembling hand of a child that's abused and they can't understand? God can. I know God can. God can take away all your pain, make the sun shine, chase the rain. Yesterday, today, forever the same. All you gotta do is just call his name. Hey friends, welcome back to Bible Tea. That song is called God Can. Y'all probably heard me play it on the piano a few times. But it's also one of my favorite songs to sing. And just know that whatever I'm going through, God's got me and I know He can handle it. So today we're going to be talking about Proverbs 24, which Proverbs 24 has 34 verses. To start us off with just a little quick summary of Proverbs 24. Yesterday when I was reading this, this is what I got out of the chapter. God starts off by telling us not to be envious of people who are living in sin, that we should have a firm foundation of His Word and on Him alone. Also, that we should be seeking after His wisdom and ways of life over anything else. This chapter contrasts the actions and sayings of a wise person versus a wicked one. It gives us the consequences and instructions God has left for us to follow. The very end of Proverbs 24 talks about how we should not be too lazy and envious of food or other worldly possessions. That if we are, that it could lead us into poverty and self-destruction. To me, this chapter also says we need to be self-aware, know what we're doing, know what we're saying. And anything we say or do will have, it will basically reap what you sow. If you do good, you should have good fruits fall. If you do bad fruit. So that's all on the summary I have. So some of the questions, and I have two overall questions for you all that if you want to comment on or message me, please feel free to. One is, how can I apply God's words of this chapter in my life? The second one is, what is something you found interesting or learned from this chapter? And then these are just, if you all had any questions over the verses, you can comment what verse and I'll get back to you on them. So, but for me, when I was reading the chapter, this is some of the verses that I wanted to know more about. And so, the first one is verse 6, which says, "For by wise counsel thou shalt make thy war, and in multitude of counselors there is safety. And to me, what I got out of that was, it means that by having wise counsel, or people you go to who are wise to help make a decision, pray for you to help fight your battle, that you are safe from harm's way. Verse 10 was another verse that I wanted to know more about. And it says, if thou faint in the day of adversity, I always mispronounce that word. If thou faint in the day of adversity, thy strength is small. And to me, this verse tells us that if we give up in the midst of our challenges, that our strength is weak. And I also view it as it's saying, like, your faith is a little weak. So for me, that means, hey, get back in where you need to be. Get back to where you need to be built up on. Seek more knowledge. And the next set of questions were, what does verse 11 and 12 mean? And they say, if thou forbear to deliver them that are drawn unto death, and those that are ready to be slain. If thou sayest, behold, we knew not, doth not he that pondereth the heart consider it? And he that keepeth thy soul, doth not he know it? And shall not he render to every man according to his works? To me, these verses say that we should tell others about Jesus and God and not deny them knowledge of him, especially if they're nearing death. God judges a person's heart to see if they follow his word, to tell others about him, especially if they're dying. Then based on our decision we made, if we chose to share or if we chose not to, we will reap what we sow. Because our God is a just God, and he really does judge every action based on the intentions in your heart. Verse 13 says, my son, eat thou honey, because it is good, and the honeycomb, which is sweet to thy taste. And funny enough, I had to ask Aaron, my husband, the other day. I was like, okay, I believe I know what this means, but I just want someone to verify it for me. This means that we should seek after God's wisdom and that it's good for us, correct? And he goes, yes, that's what it's meaning. Or so when him and I both read it. I just find it a little bit funny how it was wrote, because if you're not really seeking the meaning of it, it's easy to just think you ought to just eat honey and be done with everything. But no, God paints a really beautiful picture to me when he says, my son, eat thou honey, because it is good, and the honeycomb which is sweet to thy taste. So, telling us to seek after him and his wisdom and to eat in it, oh, that just gives me chills. The next set of verses that I wanted to know more about was verses 21 and 22. And they say, my son, fear thou the Lord and the king, and meddle not with them that are given to change. For their calamity, I think's how it's said. For their calamity shall rise suddenly, and who knoweth the ruin of them both? To me, these verses are saying, Fear the Lord and don't be okay with living in sin or people living in sin. When people are okay with living in sin or living with sin, their troubles will arise and be their downfall. The next verse that I struggled a little bit with was verse 23. And it says, "These things also belong to the wise. It is not good to have respect of persons in judgment." And to me, this means that wise people should not show favoritism in judgment. It emphasizes the importance of being fair and... Sorry, my dogs had the zoomies just then. It emphasizes the importance of being fair and impartial when making decisions about others. Then we have verse 27 that says, throw in the paper. Oh well. Verse 27, which says, "Prepare thy work without, and make it fit for thyself in the field, and afterwards build thine house." In other words, to me, it means don't put your cart before the horse. Don't make plans without seeking God first for every decision. Because when you just say, hey, I'm going to do this and that, and you ain't prayed up on it, I just feel like God's going to laugh. Because that's something me and my mom would say. When you make plans, normally they don't fall through. Because God's like, I'm the one in control, and I'm like, we wonder sometimes if he just chuckles at us. So verse 33 and 34, which are the last couple of verses that I struggled with, say, sorry, I'm having some allergies today. "Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. So shall thy poverty come as one that travelleth, and thy want as an armed man." So in order for us to understand these two verses, we have to look at verses 29 through 32, which say, "Say not, I will do so to him as he hath done to me. I will render to the man according to his work. I went by the field of the slothful, and by the vineyard of the man void of understanding. And lo, it was all grown over with thorns and nettles, had covered the face thereof, and the stone wall thereof was broken down. Then I saw and considered it well. I looked upon it and received instruction." So again, by looking at those verses, we can understand 33 and 34, which say, "Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. So shall thy poverty come as one that travelleth, and thy want as an armed man." Basically, these verses here, 33 and 34, mean that if you are lazy and you're not seeking the Lord, that your property will be overgrown and look bad. You won't be able to be joyful, successful without God. Well, friends, that is all of the Bible verses that I had questions on. If you all have any questions on any, shoot me a message, put them in the comments, and I'll get back to you. But other than that, remember, God loves you and so do I. Until next time, bye.